I've tasted chili that was so bad before I had to spit it out.
He prepares what he claims to be the world's finest chili. Now, it's not that only he claims to be, a lot of other judges do. It is to die for. It's so good. He has developed an award-winning recipe, and he comes to us from Houston, Texas, to make us this chili tonight. Later, we'll be joined by two leading food critics, Jim Villas and Gail Green, to taste and compare Chili's 4K recipe to some other popular chili dishes that we've gathered from some of Los Angeles' finest restaurants. Now, why does it call the 4K recipe, Jim?
My children all start, their names start
Got it.
with K.
I guess that you started making this as a hobby or something some years ago?
Just idiocy. Just started, cooking chili and going to contests and not winning, and going to contests and not winning, and finally it took me about 2 years to develop the basic recipe I started with. And that's the one I won the 1974 state championship with.
Mm-hmm. That's out of 114 or so. Yours was the best, huh?
Okay, and then in the 76, we started sweeping the state, and it's been history ever since.
So many people claim to be chili aficionados, and so many people have recipes that they have stored away for years and years, and they make it seem like it's a great, big, difficult thing to make chili. I've never done it, Eddie, but is it hard to make this, or is it simple?
No.
Tell me it's simple.
There's nothing to it. That's the ridiculous part about chili. That everybody says it was such a great mystique, and anybody can buy some chili ground meat or hamburger or whatever. If you use hamburger, you drain the fat off.
Sure.
All right, you start with decent meat, and then you get some tomato sauce and some jalapenos, and you get a good mixer. You get some good spices and get a good recipe, which I'll be happy to give to you to anybody who wants it. And there's nothing to it, and it's fantastic. It's a fun dish. People love it.
How long does it take you to make a batch of this?
Well, now I use hand-cut meat, if you can see.
That wasn't the question. The question was, how long does it take you to make a batch of this?
Well, 3 hours.
And that's it?
Well, to cook it, everything, about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of meat do you use, hand-cut or hamburger? I use hand-cut meat, remember?
Yeah, I use hand-cut, too. This is lifter meat, which is very close to the loin. Mm-hmm. All right, it has a beautiful flavor to it. And that's why I use it, because it's a very sweet meat.
Does chili have to be real hot to be good? I've had it in some restaurants where it'll tear your throat out.
No, chili.
You want this chopped up?
Yes, please.
Coarse or fine?
Either way.
Half and half.
Half and half. But I think chili should just taste good. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any aficionado of chili or anybody that says, "Hey, I'm a great chili lover." I'm no expert on chili. I make a chili, and I think it's good, and that's it.
Does it taste the same every time you make it, or does it get a little bit different?
No, I use the same exact recipe every time. Because you got to remember, I cook in competition. And anytime you're cooking in competition, you should always use the same recipe. I was in the Grand Prairie here about 6 weeks ago or so. We had 150 cooks, and we had about 80 judges, and I won.
What do they judge it on?
Color, texture, taste, just, a lot of different things. Smell. The first thing you do is smell it. Then you sort of look at it, see what the color is. Then you taste it, and you only take a little spoonful. And I've tasted chili that was so bad before I had to spit it out. Really bad. Let me get the pot here.
How can a judge, though, who's tasting, like in one contest I read where you had 114 competitors or 50 competitors, how can the judges keep their palate sensitive enough to find out whether yours or anybody else's is better than the next person's?
Beer. No, I'm serious. What they do, you take a little taste, and it's amazing. For years, I thought before I became a judge, I said, hey, I couldn't do that. When you start tasting chilies, you can tell the difference in good chili and bad chili.
How?
The good chili just stands out like your thumb. These are the spices. Okay, I pre-mix all my spices before I go to contest. We'll put this into the pan. We'll dump this in. We'll stir them in good. And normally, I'll let my spices sit with the meat for about a half an hour. Just sort of work in before I got
to say that we have a pot made up, the blue one over here. Gray if you have a black and white set.
That's all blue.
And gray if they have a black and white set. And that's been steeping like for the afternoon so that the recipe has had a chance to all get together and coagulate or whatever it is you call it. Yeah. We're just going through this to fill time between now and the sign-off.
I use New Mexico ground red chilies, which has a very, very smooth, delightful flavor. That's when you taste the chili?
I know. Your chili is not hot. It doesn't rip your throat.
Not at all.
You don't have to drink beer after it, although it would be helpful if we did.
The way I developed the 4K recipe was it took me 2 years to start out, again, to develop the original recipe. Oh, that's nice. And I tried it on my little son, Carl, who was 4. And every weekend I'd cook chili, and I'd have Carl taste it. And the poor kid almost died. But I don't know whether he gave up after 2 years or finally liked something. He said, "Hey, Dad, I like this." And that's what I finally came up with.
How much water did you put in there?
Well, normally I'll use 5 pounds of meat, and I'll use about 16 ounces of water. Or more recently, I've gone to beer, strictly cooking with beer. And I'll use about...
Should we put a little beer in here?
You got a beer?
Do we have any beer? It can be brought to us.
Anything at NBC.
Well, why put any more water in if we're going to put beer?
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
you know, what do we want this stuff for?
That's right.
You know, fish die in this stuff out here. It's bad. Very bad.
Fantastic.
Hide the label.
We don't have little tiny beers like that in Texas.
You're kidding. Oh,
No.
these little 8 ounce. That's 8 ounces in here.
That's super. That's fine. Just pour it.
Sure you don't want 7? Make it 6.
Beer gives it a very nice flavor.
Now, when that simmers for a while, it's going to thicken up, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It'll boil off, it'll thicken up, and it'll be out of sight. It'll take, that meat takes at least 2 hours to get tender.
It does?
Yeah.
So like an hour after we finish, it'll be close?
Right.
Okay.
We can hang around, get a couple more of those little 8 ounce things. And
No, we have the large economy size around the show. Do we ever? We'll be right back with Ed Paetzel and Jim Villas and Gail Green after these words from our NBC station, so keep your taste buds alive. Thank you. Never saw that can, did you, folks? I'd like to introduce to you now Gail Green, who is from New York City, whose writings on food are known around this country, and most of all, I think, in the New York City area, where she's written extensively on restaurants for a number of years. And Mr. Jim Villas, who is a food critic who posed as a captain in a restaurant in Chicago. More about that later, but the main reason they're joining Ed Paetzel and myself is to taste the chilies. Now, have we told them what is what? We've not told you which is Ed's and which is...
I don't even know which is mine.
Okay, fine.
You don't recognize your own child here?
That's right.
I recognize it, but I wasn't told which one it was.
I'm going to fix each of you a cup of number 4, which looks...
Oh, look at these cups.
What do you think of this, Ed?
Well, the meat's very tender. It has a very smooth...
It's yours, Ed.
I knew it was mine.
Don't knock this one, Ed.
I'm not going to knock this one.
What do you think, Gail?
I like it.
She looked
I like
smooth.
because I was tasting the, tastes like cumin. I love the flavor.
Thank you.
Hey, let me ask you this. Why? This is very good. We like this, you know. Why are there no beans in that?
Well, we don't eat beans with chili.
Tell me about beans. You know, well, some of my friends in Houston say they do, and others say they don't.
Well,
what is the story on that?
The story is that the Texans do eat chili with beans, but we cook the beans on the side like these are cooked.
Oh.
And we pour the chili over the beans.
Oh.
Honest, they're
that
delicious.
flavoring is beautiful.
Thank you. Taste the beans.
And we were not told that word when we started.
No, sir, you were not.
It's good.
Excellent
Well, but
chili.
it was
Have you
really
tasted
no
this chili?
contest.
Come on.
Pardon?
It was really no contest.
Thank you.
Come out here.
Shouldn't we put the
I'm not
chili
gonna
on
say
top
anything.
of the
Just
beans?
come out here.
Can I put this in, Tom?
Yeah, but wait, I gotta
put some.
Oh, wait, I gotta give a friend of mine a little
All right.
taste of this stuff. This is to die for. This is so good. Now tell me you don't like that. This is the one that's getting married.
Here, Tom, put some of the in.
He makes a good chili, doesn't he?
That's damn good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ed,
with
thank you
the
so
beans.
much.
Thank
I know
you
it was a
very
long
much.
trip. You made an effort
Damn
for us.
good.
We will continue with Gail Green and Jim Villas. Ed will be here cooking, and we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. Thank you all.